I'm going to start presenting. Let's see. My screen here. Okay. So you should be able to see this lovely picture. This is the Arizona State Board of Massage Therapy website. And it is a very useful website. And I hope you're listening carefully because there's some important things to know here. Once you get your license, the State Board is extremely clear on the fact and unwavering on the fact that you have to keep track of when to renew. They are not required to send you a renewal notice. They are not required to tell you anything. You could just slip on by your renewal. You won't ever hear from them for years until you want your license back. Ms. Petrie is nodding her head because I'm sure she did not get a renewal notice. And she probably thought we're so used to renewal notices, we're so used to people hounding us, like come to class, pay your credit card, do your laundry, that it's weird to have an agency that doesn't send that out. And other agencies do, by the way. You know, when your driver's license, things like that, you often get a notice. They're not required to, and they've made it very clear they're not going to. And so that is never an excuse. So you can't say you moved, you can't say whatever, because they don't care. They probably didn't send it to you in the first place. The good news is your license renews every 2 years on your birthday. So when you're having a birthday, I literally do this. When I'm having my birthday coming up, I'm like, oh, got to check my license. Oh, good, I renewed it last year. I got one more year. So that's really important to know. Your license renews on your birthday. Nobody will tell you. But you are required to do 24 hours of continuing ed. 24 classroom hours, which is roughly 3 days of continuing ed. Half of those hours can be online, half have to be in person. Now, some of this changed a little bit temporarily because of COVID, but for you guys, we'll be well out of COVID 2 years from now. So you're going to be required to do 20, by the way, some of this is under review under the state government, and they have talked about changing the requirements, but right now, the requirements are after you get your license, in 2-ish years, because the first 2 years they make it line up on your birthday, so sometimes you get a little extra time actually. You have to have 24 hours of continuing ed done. 12 hours can be online, 12 hours can be in person. Does that make sense? So, it is super easy to do online continuing ed. I mean, I recommend you pick really cool stuff, but it's actually super easy to do online continuing ed. So you can wait till the last minute on that. You could probably get it done the night before your birthday. You really could. What you can't get done the night before your birthday is your 12 hours of continuing ed. And I had somebody, you can get 12 hours of continuing ed probably for $100, maybe $50 some places. It depends. It's not that expensive. I had a person who waited till basically the day before their birthday and didn't have their 12 hours of continuing ed. So they got it. I gave it to them. They paid $500 to finish the 4 hours they were missing. They already had 8. Finished the 4 hours they were missing because they waited till the last minute. And I am totally happy to have any of you call me and do the same. Now, if you have all 12 hours, that'll be $1,500, just to let you know. I recommend you kind of pick stuff sooner because instead of $1,500, you can pay $50. But it's very hard to get in-person continuing ed last minute. People plan it months ahead of time. It's just hard to do. Can you do all 24 hours in person? Yes, you can. Can you do all 24 hours online? No. The most you can do online and get credit for is 12 hours. So at least 12 hours has to be in person. All of it can be in person, but at least 12 hours has to be in person. Get your in-person continuing ed done early. The day you get your license, any continuing ed you take counts towards your renewal. So the day you get your license, you've got 2 years to go knock out at least the 12 hours, the part that is going to be hard in person. And I really recommend you do that. Yes, Ms. Torres.
How do they know you did your hours?
They don't. What they do is they can find out. What they do is they audit about 10% of applicants. And so what they do is on the application, they say, do you swear you took your continuing ed? And you say, I swear I took my continuing ed. And then 1 out of 10 people, they say, send us their certificates. And people that teach continuing ed turn in their rosters and they can check. But they don't check on everybody. You're absolutely right. And you probably could get away with it once or twice. Of course, if they catch you, right, you lose your license and that's very, very bad. But they don't know up front. They take your word for it up front. And what I have found as a therapist of 26 years is the longer you're a therapist, the less they check. So with me, I don't remember the last time they asked for proof. I mean, I still do it because I don't lose my job as a teacher, but they don't check as often. Whereas you're brand new, they're more likely to audit you to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But the audit is nothing more than they send you a letter and they say, we got your application, Ms. Torres, everything looks great. Will you please send us the certificates from your continuing ed? And you'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't know you were going to ask. And they're like, of course you didn't know. This is random. And they just look at those certificates, match them up in the rosters. They say, you're good. And by the way, let's suppose one of those certificates shows that you took it after your birthday, after you renewed. So now you've got your continuing ed, but you lied when you renewed. That's still considered not good. They'll still take your license away. You have to have your continuing ed done before your birthday every 2 years. You have to. They might change that rule, but right now that is a hard and fast rule. There are no exceptions. Now, things that count for continuing ed in person, CPR. CPR is 4 hours right there. You can get 4 hours of CPR. Will count as 4 hours of those 12 hours of in-person continuing ed. Unfortunately for like Miss Hunter and Miss Harper who just took their CPR, that will not count because they didn't have a license yet. But when they renew that CPR certification, that'll count. So every 2 years can be CPR certification. Will knock off 12 hours. I think they even allow up to 6 hours if you've got like a first aid course too and stuff, but they won't do more than that. If you're a substitute teacher, by the way, strangely enough, you get some hours for being a substitute teacher too, because they figure if you're teaching massage, you're probably learning quite a bit about massage. Yeah. Nothing's open tomorrow. But there's nothing. Hold on, everybody, 1 second. Yeah, purplepass.com, but nothing's open tomorrow or the next day. We're booked this week solid.
All right.
Sorry, next week we have openings. Next week we have openings,
Nice.
but not this week.
Or you can do the same thing, stand by.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Sorry, people are asking about Purple Pass. I can send them links to it if they ever give you an email address. Anyway, does that make sense? So, Miss Stanley, how many hours does it take to renew your massage license?
24.
24 hours. Miss Bilotic, how often do you have to renew your license? Miss Bilotic?
Hello?
Hello. Miss Bilotic, how often do you have to renew your license?
Every 2 years?
Every 2 years. That's good. Thank you, ma'am. Every 2 years, yes. Miss Cooper, how many of your hours must be in person for your renewal?
12.
12. Miss Cooper, can I do more than 12 in person?
Yes, that's to be 24 hours, right?
Yes, I could do all 24 in person if I wanted to, but not all 24 online. Yes, good. Miss Moore, what's the maximum amount of online hours I can get for my license renewal?
12.
12. Thank you. Good. Okay, everybody. Miss Petrie, talk to us.
For continuing ed, what do you offer for Gateway?
Well, right now we don't have anything on the books, but in the past, we've offered a whole bunch of stuff. We offered kind of a Thai massage crash course. We offered an entire, these are all, by the way, 4-hour classes. I like short. Here's why I like short continuing ed, by the way. I have been to really long continuing ed classes, and I feel like they stretch the material. I feel like they don't really have enough to cover 2 days, and so they stretch the material, and they're like, oh, we got plenty of time, we're going to get to this thing, and I'm like, eh. And you are really lucky, by the way, if you walk away with a continuing ed course and you learn one thing. Because you're already doing massage, right? You're hoping to walk away with one really useful nugget to learn. I don't mean like a fact, I mean like a move or something. So anyway, I find in 4 hours, I'm trying to pack information in, and you get a really power punched, you know, kind of continuing ed experience. Anyway, 4-hour classes, Thai massage. We've done an entire class on hands, entire class on feet, entire class on shoulder girdle stuff, entire class on hips.
Because I know that you personally are extremely busy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you personally can't do continuing ed. I didn't know if
Well,
there were
actually,
other
I will still do
instructors
some.
coming in.
I will still do some, but we will bring in some people too. You're right.
Okay,
And I'm wondering
I
about-
wasn't sure if there's other instructors.
I'm
coming
wondering
in.
about having Miss Borish teach a class actually on passing the MBLEX. I feel like that's something we're missing. And what's cool about that is you could take a class on passing the MBLEX and count it as your continuing ed, but also use it to pass the MBLEX. So if we do have guest people come in, that's some of the stuff we're looking at. We're also, by the way, right now, as we speak, it'll probably be months before it's actually done. We've been working on it for months. We are working on an online muscular anatomy course. And you can take a muscular anatomy refresher every 2 years if you want. You can take the same course, by the way, guys, every 2 years. If you love the reflexology course, you want to keep taking it. Anyway, so we are going to create an online for all 12 hours. It might even be more than that, of anatomy fresher too. So hopefully we'd like to be the place where you take your online hours and your in-person hours. So yeah, we got lots of exciting stuff coming. And you're right, my schedule is really tight, but I want to get back to that, to where I don't have 2 classes at once, so I can do continuing ed. And that's where I'm heading. We'll see if my bosses, are heading there with me, but that's where we're headed.
Because I was curious if the other instructor, Heather,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's Miss Borish.
and I was wondering if she was going to teach a cupping.
Oh, yeah, I could easily see that. In fact, if that's something you want, that's something we'll look into.
Just a thought.
No, it's an excellent thought. Got it. Thank you. I'll take suggestions for other types of stuff too, but yeah, should be good for
Because
that.
it's something that she already does and specializes in,
Yep.
that it might be easy for her to have a continuing ed class
Yeah, it
for
is.
that.
Yeah, I love that idea. Okay. And Miss Felix Osuna approves, and that's what's really important, Miss Petrie. I didn't really, but now that you got her backing, we're doing it. Miss Felix Osuna, it's happening. Thank you. Thank you. And there will be granola bars there too, Miss Felix Osuna, just so you know. Yeah, cupping and granola bars. Yeah,
They better be blueberry.
we call it granola.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes.
Blueberry, yeah. I love it. Miss Monreal, you have your hand raised.
Yes, why would somebody need to pass the MBLEX?
If they wanted to go to another state. A lot of other states require the MBLEX for reciprocity. If you want to work in Arizona, you do not need to take the MBLEX. I, in my personal opinion, can't see any reason, except patting yourself on the back or some weird credentialing, but no. It's the reason Mr. Ibar and I haven't taken it. It's just there's an expense to it. We'd have to study, and we don't have any need for it. We're not going anywhere. So, yeah. So, but anyway, lots of my students ask about going to other states, and MBLEX comes up more and more now.
But it's not all states though.
No, but it's a lot now.
Is it?
Yeah. Look around on some of those sites that let you know all the requirements. It's in a lot of states now that require the MBLEX if you are getting reciprocity there, if you're going to that state. Yeah. Yeah, the MBLEX. And by the way, there's still talk. They've been talking about this though for 20 years, but there's still talk of going to national licensing. If they do go to national licensing, I can easily see. By the way, you guys would probably all get grandfathered in if your licenses were current. That's really good news, and that's a really good reason to stay current on your license. But if you are a new student, I could see when they go to national licensing, them requiring MBLEX at every single school in every single state to have consistency. Yeah, I don't personally like that idea completely, but that's not, it's so far out of my realm. Yeah. Okay. So that's why people might want to take the MBLEX and why we might have a thing, but cupping is easy. We'll do that. We'll probably wait till you guys have licenses so you can be students of ours. Not that you have to be, but like, I just meant like, since it interests you and Miss Felix Osuna, Miss Petrie, we would have one, and we'd wait till you had your license so that you could start getting your continuing ed for the renewal. Because if you take it before you get your license, it won't count for your renewal. Yeah. All right. Other questions about that so far? I think we're doing good. Okay. Can we see the state website here, right? Okay. So let's do some stuff here. If I go to status, there's a thing called Massage Therapist Search Tool. Nowadays, usually when you go to apply for a massage job, they don't even ask to see your license because the employer can look you up on here. And if you go to Massage Search Tool here, I'm going to click on it right now. It'll take you to this little search thing. And if you type in somebody's last name and go to the data and scroll down, you'll see me pop up, for example. It says that I am active. It says when my license was initially issued in 2004, and I realize that I've said I've been doing massage longer than that. That's because I have. This is when state licensure started. We used to have city licenses before this. So I was a massage therapist long before this, but this is when state licenses started in 2004. It expires on 6/16/2023. What do you think the month and day of my birth are? June 16th. Yeah. So that's my birth date. I just renewed online. So it took me 32 seconds to renew. I paid them $97 and I sent in a thing and the renewal came back instantly. They're not checking continuing ed right now because of COVID, but so it's a little bit faster because of that, but it's easy. You go online to renew. So anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. You can look up people. I don't even know if I'm typing you in, Miss Petrie, just because I thought maybe they'd have your license. Like, yeah. So here's Miss Petrie. She used to have a license. It's saying it expired in 2013, which is why she's here, because that was 8 years ago, and they're like, that's too long ago to renew. This is not, by the way, this is not a ding on her record. There is nothing wrong with this. This is just her saying her license is closed right now. That she had it for, and when she reapplies, it'll come back up. And I want to show you that too, what it's going to look like when you guys apply. But Mr. Kadaris, please go first. Go. What did you have to say, sir? Or question? Or
So, I was just going on the website and they have 2 stars on Google.
yes. So the board, I will be very honest. I do hear lots of stuff about the board. I have had really good experiences with them. And I will give you guys this word of caution. The board is made up of about 5 people. It's got kind of a head guy to the office. It's got 2 secretaries that process applications. It's got a private investigator. It's not private. An investigator who investigates fraud and inappropriate conduct. And then like a kind of like a file clerk. If you want to make your life difficult, be rude to those secretaries because they are the entire office and they'll remember you. If you want to make your life wonderful, be nice to those secretaries because they will remember you too, and a lot of people aren't nice to them. When people can't get calls back from them or anything. When I call them, when I talk to them, bam, right back. Not because I'm a great guy, but because I kiss their butt because they have a hard job. They're in a very tiny office. It's very thankless, and I'm just nice to them, and we work together really well. So I encourage you. It's a nice board. It really is. I know they've got issues. It is a government agency. It's got, it's not perfect, but really, they really can be really quite lovely. And Kathy there, I've had Kathy be like, I just want them to get their license so they can work. Like, she cares. Like, she gets it. So that's just my sales pitch for the board. I actually really like them. Ms. Hunter, you have your hand up.
Why is Miss Petrie's address available for anyone and everyone to see?
Because she listed it that way. You have the right not to list your address that way. You can list a P.O. box, you can list a work address. I think they need some address, but it does not have to be your home address. So like I used to have my home address for the same reason. I had it forever and ever and ever, and just this time when I renewed, in fact, I wonder if they changed it. Hold on, I gotta go back. Yeah, I put the school's address for the same reason that you were talking about. I was like, maybe I probably shouldn't have my home address out there. But anyway, so I put my work address because that seemed like a lot easier. So you do have choices which address to use, and you'll see that, Miss Hunter. But you're right, they publish some type of address.
That's crazy.
So you have, you have to have a mailing address or a P.O. box or something.
What if you just put in some crazy address? What happened?
They might not find out.
Really?
Well, they don't really send you much notifications or whatever. Only, actually, they might find out because if your application's incomplete, they'll send you a letter, and you'd never get that letter.
Okay.
But you're right. For somebody like me, where I'm just renewing forever, they're never going to know what address. Like I could just make up stuff. Yeah.
Well, I just think it's weird to post someone's address online, but I guess I see why. But then I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's weird. It's that whole privacy thing, but it's also that whole public record thing.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, you can choose not to do your home address though.
All right. Thanks.
You will see choices for that. All right. So let me see if I can't find somebody's license who's pending, because this is what I want you guys to see. Let's see if I just do a big search of a whole bunch of nobodies. Hold on, everybody. Okay. So, do we see Rosie here? Rosie Esparza? When was her license issued? When does it expire? This is actually a very good sign. When you guys apply for your license, you should go to the state board website about a week after you apply, type your name in and see if you see this. This is what you hope you see. This tells me they got Rosie's paperwork and it's been received and they're working on her background check probably. Or they've got some other piece of paperwork. But it's a really good sign that they've got a lot of the stuff they need. They received it, they put you in, they're kind of putting your file together. If you don't see this in a couple of weeks after you apply, we need to reach out to the board and be like, this is weird. So it's a good sign that things are in process for Rosie. That's what's very helpful. Yeah. You'll also sometimes see this. This one says closed because they failed to qualify. This is not considered bad. They did not get their license, but I meant they didn't do anything wrong. But something happened, like they didn't get their transcripts, and so they failed to qualify. And so after about a year, they close down your file and they say, hey, you just didn't send us all the stuff you were supposed to. And they'll close it down. They'll open it back up again if they start sending them stuff, but that's what that means. You'll see a lot of expireds. Here's somebody else who just applied. I wanted to see if we had a disciplinary action to show you what that looks like. So bear with me. Let's do this. I wonder if we can do. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's see. No? Hold on, guys. I'll try to show you disciplinary action. I'm going to look this person up by first name. Bear with me. And let's get some extra. Okay. All right. Okay, do you see this last person here, Casey? Casey has a disciplinary action, a letter of concern. She also let her license expire here. So anyway, disciplinary actions, letters of concern are a problem. She was put on probation for 2 years. They don't tell you why, but you can actually request that information. Does that name look familiar, Miss Petrie? You're making a funny face. Oh, you actually know Casey, I think.
I'm just thinking that they don't tell you why.
They will.
That's...
They will. You can actually look through their board findings and look up Casey and you can find out why. You can also request it. They are legally required to tell you about disciplinary actions on anybody you request about, and you don't need a reason. So if you and I sent an email to the board right now and said, we want to know about Casey's file, they would tell us exactly why. Would you like me to tell you why, since I know? Casey had sex with her client and blackmailed them and got arrested. It's one of the most egregious cases. I don't even understand why she got her license back. But they pulled her license for 2 years. They made her do all this legal stuff. They made her go to counseling. They did all these things. They require all this stuff. And they finally gave her license back. But anyway.
Oh my.
And she worked for the princess at one time.
There's 2 other people who
Have disciplinary actions.
did something along those lines. Yes.
I just can't imagine. Anyway, don't sleep with your clients and definitely don't blackmail them. Miss Hunter.
This is crazy because she did something wrong and then attempted to like get something out of it, but then screwed herself in the end, right?
Yep.
Is that how that happened?
Yep. Yep. And I actually told Casey one time, I said, Casey, I'm not worried about you being punished for your anger, because she has anger issues like you can't believe. She's not a bad person, but she's a dangerous person. I said, I'm not worried about you being punished for your anger issues. I'm worried about you being punished by your anger issues. And that's her whole life. It's her getting angry, doing something really aggressive and stupid, and getting in big trouble. So she got angry at the person she was having an affair with, and she threatened them, and that person very smartly went and told her wife and went to the police, and then she went to jail.
Okay, got it.
So she's on the news, everything. It was kind of sad. Anyway, I'm not trying to make fun of Casey. People have issues. I want to just show you what happens with a disciplinary action. I happen to know that one because I knew her. By the way, I don't know how she got her license back. That would typically be something where, and just let you know, if you ever got a disciplinary action like that, when you go to the board meeting, there's police there too, deciding if they should arrest you. Like, they're listening to the board complaint. If the board complaint is like, well, they asked me out on a date during the massage and I felt really uncomfortable, that's not an arrestable offense. The board does, by the way. They'll fine you and send you back for training, and maybe they'll slap you on the wrist, whatever. But the police go, well, that's not violating anything. But when you're there and they're like, oh, sexual interactions or blackmail, they arrest you then too. So you lose your license and they arrest you and haul you off. So just the good news is I have never once seen a frivolous case in the board. Like, you don't have to worry because your client sneezed in the massage or something. Like, don't worry. They're always really nasty stuff where you're like, I would never do that. Just be careful. Anyway, I just want to show you what comes up. So when you apply for your license, you're going to look for your name and you hope to see it pending. And then you can keep checking, by the way, because one day it'll say approved even before you get anything in the mail. It just says approved, and then you're legit. When it shows on the website, this is what I check. Like, I go on here and literally look up Miss Borish, Mr. Ibarra, my other teachers to make sure their licenses are current. This is where I check them. Yeah, not because I don't trust them, just because that's just good in practice. Okay. Questions before we go on the actual application? All right. So we go to 4 applicants, and we are here. And we go to these forms. By the way, here's a renewal application. Renewals are done all online. They take minutes. But up here we want forms to apply here. Where are my forms? Bear with me, everybody. It's been a while since I've actually... Here's the initial application. There we go. Okay. Here's initial application. There are some kind of cool stuff here. There is like a checklist that you can use for application materials, but I'm going to take you right to the form because the form will show us everything we need to use. So we're going to go to forms here. Normally we pay first, by the way. Normally you go to payment first, and you actually have to pay $219.50. I'm going to show you what that looks like. You go to initial application thing here. Bear with me. You would actually type in your name, your last name, your phone number, your email address, and you would pick this one up here. You want the application fee and the background check fee, $217. There's a $2.50 processing fee, and you'd pay that. Some of you are going to be like, I've got a fingerprint card. Do I need the background? Yes. I had a background check that yes. Yes, yes, yes. You have to pick the first one. You need their background check, unfortunately. So you're going to pick that first one. This whole thing is going to cost you $219.50. I've never had anybody denied, but I hate to tell you, if you're denied, they get to keep your money too. Just to warn you. And you'd say pay now. When you say pay now, they're going to give you a confirmation code, and you really, really need to keep it because we're going to put the confirmation code in the form to show you paid. So, all right, so that's that. That's how you pay. That's very simple. Credit card, debit card, you just go through that process and you save the confirmation code. I would save a screenshot of the page because it shows you paid, right? And I would take you to that spot, but I actually have to pay at that point, and that doesn't really help us. So let's go back to the initial application. That was payment. Let's go to forms here. Initial application is right there. Initial application form, right here. All right. This, you will fill out most of your application online. There is some stuff that has to be mailed into them. But here's our regular thing we're going to fill out. Just so you guys know, there are different types of licenses. There's one reciprocity here if you're coming from out of state, which you guys are not. And you need different stuff. And universal acceptances when you're coming from out of state, things like that. You guys are applying for a regular massage license. You have graduated from a massage school with a minimum of 700 hours, and it's not from outside Arizona, so you don't have to take a test, thank God. So you are applying for a regular massage license. You'll come down here. All this is just instructions. Don't worry, we'll get back to them. This checklist does not have to be done. This is for you to let you know all the stuff that you're going to need. You will need to fill out an application. You will need to pay for it. They actually should have that in reverse order. You will pay for it, then fill out the application. Fingerprints, right now, by the way, everybody, just so you know, I'm getting approval. I'm assuming I will get it. I've gotten it every year to use your tip money to pay for your fingerprint cards. I also put in a form to use your tip money to pay for your transcripts to be sent so that we can send them on your behalf and you guys don't have to worry about it. So that way, so those of you, I appreciate your honesty. They're putting money in the tip jar and stuff because we're going to use that to get your fingerprint cards and your school transcripts sent. That's what I was trying to say. You'll need a passport photo, but we can take one with your phone. Evidence of citizenship. For most of you, evidence of citizenship will literally just be an Arizona driver's license. I think in Arizona, if you have a recent driver's license, they do not issue them to anybody who is not a legal resident. And so for most of you, your Arizona driver's license will take care of it. If you don't have an Arizona driver's license, you might need a green card or something like that that says you have the right to work here. That's what they want to know. They want to know you have the right to work in this state. But driver's license is usually all it takes. Right down here it says MBLEX. You don't have to take that. Transcripts, we're going to send them. And that's it. This is about the English test, and we'll get to that in just a second. All right, so you would scroll down here, and here's literally what you would do. You would say, click. Number 1, I wish to apply for a regular Arizona license. Right? 2, you'd put your last name here. You'd put your first name here. You would state your sex. I think they don't give you a choice not to. So you pick whatever. If you have other aliases, you need to put them down here. So, or if you had a maiden name or something, you would put it down here. You would put your social security number here, right? You know, it's 333-33-3333, something like that. Your date of birth and your place of birth. And that, your place of birth is the full thing. So it's, for some of you, it's Phoenix, Arizona. And that's just, there we go, Phoenix, Arizona. It's okay if this is another country, by the way. That doesn't deny your application, but just where you're born. This is very misleading. This next box says, tell us how you want your name printed on your massage therapy license. You pretty much have to use your legal name. They won't let you use another name unless you can prove it's really your legal name. So I mean, you're really just going to put the same name here. If I put Michael Tapscott here, I'm really going to put Michael Tapscott here. I don't know why they have that there, because I've had students, by the way, say, I'd like to be called George Tapscott, and they're like, well, then prove you are George Tapscott. So I don't quite understand why this is here. Then there's your address stuff. You do need to fill out your residential address. That's required. But for those of you that don't want to post your residential address, you might want to put in a mailing address. This is not required. An employer address is not required at all. But if you put one of these in, when you get down here, they'll say, which one of the above addresses would you like to use for our address on record? Right? And you can actually have a different contact address. Like you might want them to contact you at your residence to send you, like, you're missing this in your application. And for your website address, what Miss Hunter was noticing is you might want to use your mailing or your business address there, so not everybody has it. You could probably even use the school address, to be honest with you. I've never tried, but I don't think it's illegal to try. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Mr. Kandaris.
So, I always laugh at the whole residential address one.
Yeah.
So like, because I use my P.O. box for everything, literally.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
You can use that. So you could put that would be your mailing address.
Yeah, but that's why I laugh at the whole residential address thing. Cause it's like, where do you live? But it's like, okay, yeah, I'm here at my dad's, but what if I spend 4 nights out of the 7
Oh, yeah.
or 7 days at my girlfriend's house? So it's like, I always think it's a joke.
I agree. And my experience with the board, again, I'm not a lawyer, but my experience with the board is they don't care. They just want to know, like, if we really had to get a hold of you, how would we find you? So really for your benefit.
Yeah.
Really, because they're like, we're missing your transcripts, and how do we tell you that? Yeah. But you're right. You're right. Where do you live? It is a hard question to answer, actually. So just think about that, everybody. Those are addresses. Then they're going to ask you, are you a citizen or national of the United States? For many of you, the answer will be yes. I was born here. And then you just say what city you were born in, whatever. If you are not, you can have alien status. It means that you are not a citizen of the United States, but you do have the right to work here. You're an alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence under Immigration Nationality Act. We'll search through this. We have to find the right thing for you, but you would just attest that you're here legally. Right? And then they're going to ask you for evidence of citizenship or alien status. For most of you right here, you are going to be submitting your Arizona driver's license. And you would literally click here, and it would allow you to upload your Arizona driver's license if you have a picture of it on file. So this is one of the first documents you might want to bring to me, especially if you want my help filling out your application, because I will make an electronic copy of your driver's license, put it in your file so we can upload it when we're doing your application together. So all of you definitely need an Arizona driver's license. I shouldn't say all of you, or like a green card, something that says you're allowed to work here. So one of those two things. And you literally click here, you literally write, right here I'd write, if for the simplest case, it's an AZ driver's license. And I put the expiration date on there, and I click on here, and we'd actually upload the file. It's going to ask me to upload the file. We're not going to do it, but it would. And we'd upload the file. That's it. So, but we need to actually scan your driver's license to do that. So if anybody needs their driver's license scanned, bring them in today. We'll start scanning. Bring them in tomorrow. We'll start scanning so we can fill out applications next week. Then they're going to ask you this question. Is English your native language? If you say yes, that's it. There's nothing else to do here. If you say no, they're going to ask you, what is your native language? And my native language is native. And yours would be a real language. I'm just typing something there. And then they're going to ask you later to take either the TOEFL or the TOLEC if they're still requiring it. And you'll send that directly to the board. That's if English is not your native language here. Yeah, that's all I actually have to say about that. Anyway, so that question is very important though. Answer that. Then they're going to ask you about high school. It's okay if you didn't graduate high school, but you need like a GED then. So if you didn't graduate high school, if you graduated high school, they want the high school you went to and the date you graduated. And I find they're not picky about the date you graduated. It could be May of, 1999. They don't want May 1st, 3 o'clock. It's fine. May of 1999 will be good enough for them. Or the day you got your GED, your high school equivalent diploma, right? Yes, Miss Monreal.
What if you don't remember that?
You can't ever get your massage license.
Okay.
I always hesitate to give advice on how to fill out this application, but I would come to the closest guess you can. Did you actually graduate high school? I don't mean it the way it sounds, but did you?
No, I got my GED.
Oh, okay. But you got a GED.
Yeah, I just don't remember when.
But you probably can
Like,
figure
I
out.
remember the year.
Oh, that's fine. Put the
Okay.
year down and make up a month. What I really ask myself on this application is, are you lying? And you're not lying on purpose. You got a GED, right? And you're just going to put that down, Ms.
Yeah.
L'Oreal. You can guesstimate the date, the date, as far as I know. That's not fraudulent. You got a GED. Guess the month and the year, and we're good.
I think most high school
Okay.
graduates in Arizona, anyway, they graduate like May, June.
Oh yeah, May is
Wow.
May is the one I see up there all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but she got a GED, so she could have gotten it in January. I mean, she got it whenever she got it.
Right. But
But
I'm
again,
just saying
I don't think
that
the
if she
board-
just put down like May or June,
Right.
and then the year.
I'm not sure the board even checks everybody. They just want to know you're supposed to have a high school diploma or a GED, and they're just like, do you have one? I think if you have one, nobody's going to come back to you and be upset with you that you got the date wrong, right? That's just a small mistake. I don't know what ability to benefit is. We'll look that up later. I've never used this right here. This next thing says, tell us about your massage therapy education. For every single one of you, it will be this. You guys started, I think, 08,
24.
08, 24? 20? And you're going to graduate, worst case scenario, you graduate 05,
May 11th.
11, yeah, 2021. And the date of completion would be the same, 05, 11, 2021. Boom. Now, you're going to notice down here that it's got a name for another massage school. Excuse me. That is for people kind of like Miss Petrie. You won't use this, Miss Petrie, because you completed all the hours here. But if Miss Petrie had only taken part of our program and then taken part of somebody else's program, which she kind of did there for a while, she could list the other school here. But none of you, including Miss Petrie, should worry about this. None of you should fill out B and C. You got all of your hours at Gateway. Miss Petrie, you got enough hours here that you don't have to mention Westwind or whatever. Like, it just doesn't matter. Does that make sense? I
But
think,
if I send that too, can they double up my hours? I mean, what if I wanted to go work in Hawaii? Now I have all of the hours I need.
yes, but they won't send this to Hawaii.
Oh,
All
that's-
Hawaii will ask is, do you have a state license? And you'll say yes, and then you'll pull up all your hours. So I would keep transcripts that you've done from your 500 hours. That would be very helpful if you go to Hawaii, but the state board here won't care. It's not like they're going to turn over that to another place. They don't actually talk to
I'm
the
not
other boards.
saying I'm gonna go to Hawaii
But you might.
and work there,
But you might.
but I am saying I want to know that I could.
God, I love that philosophy. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you could. Absolutely. Anyway, I don't think anybody has to fill out B or C. I really don't. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to have issues. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's go on down. And then exam. It's going to say, have you graduated from a board-recognized school located in Arizona? You can all say yes, because you have, or you will have by May 11th. And the good news is you then do not have to take the MBLEX or the National Massage and Body Workers exam. So you don't have to fill out any of this. You just say yes. You've graduated from this class. Then down here they have number 10, they say licensed massage therapy experience. This is for people applying for reciprocity. Did you come from another place and what licensing board was that? Maybe you came from Hawaii. None of you will fill this out. You do not need this to get your license. This is for people applying for reciprocity. You'll just skip this. Here, we will upload the second thing we're going to upload, and that's your photo. What I need from all of you is passport photos to do this if you want my help. And you don't have to go to a passport office anymore. You can literally have each other stand in front of a white wall and shoot each other from here up. It's a bust. It's from here up. It's from your décolleté up, and it's a 2x2 photo. Try to make it square, and don't smile. You don't smile in passport photos. I know it sounds weird. It's really hard, but a really good passport photo looks like this. Okay? Anyway, if you send that to me too, I can keep that on file for you and help you upload that too, and you can actually take that with your phone. Have somebody take it, send it to me. I need a nice thing on a white background. Bam. The stark white walls around here are really good. They don't reflect. It's good. Mr. Kandaris, sir.
If I just use my passport, could that be used for the identification and the photo?
You can't upload your passport, can you?
I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Like,
Meaning, I don't like
scanning it?
Oh, we could try. We could try, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Passports do work as really good identification that you're a citizen here and everything.
Yeah, I figured it's already been.
We'd have to crop the photo electronically so it's just a passport photo though.
Okay.
It might be easier just to take it on your phone. But yes,
Yeah. All right.
your general premise
That
works.
was an option.
Yeah, it really is an option. Yes. Anyway, we're going to attach that file here. So we've uploaded a copy front and back of your driver's license, by the way, front and back, which I would be happy to make for you. A passport photo of you that's electronic too. We didn't even go anywhere to do it. We just took it on your phone. We've got those two things. So if you guys want to email me pictures of you, and if you want to bring in your licenses or whatever, I can take copies of them front and back and make them electronic. That's the two things we've uploaded so far. Then, they are going to ask you about professional conduct. Have you ever been convicted of a class 1, 2, or 3 felony? Hopefully 5 or 6. Have you ever pled no contest to something involving moral turpitude? Moral turpitude means unethical behavior, essentially. So, anyway, don't freak out if you have some minor offense in your background. I have seen the board give licenses to all sorts of people. So, to be very blunt, let's suppose you have a minor possession of marijuana from 5 years ago. I would suspect the board's not even going to blink, especially now that they've changed the laws. But that type of stuff. But if you have prostitution on your record from 3 years ago, you might not get a license. So anyway, you answer these. If you answer yes to any of them, like yes, I'm currently under investigation, you have to then explain your answers. You have to actually upload a written copy and all sorts of stuff. Yes, Ms. Petrie. Are you currently under investigation?
Well, when I went and worked in Sturgis,
Mhm.
I had to have a, what do they call it? A stripper/prostitution card.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that counts.
No, because that was not illegal, right?
No, it was legal in Sturgis.
Then they don't care. They are talking about illegal prostitution. And if it's not illegal, and I understand what you were doing there. I'm not suggesting.
Right.
But I understand what you're worried about.
No, like dancing on the
Right.
dancing on the bar and stuff. Yeah, you have
I know.
a
So
card
anyway,
to do
no,
any of that.
that's like, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I would be shocked. They're not going to care at all. That's not prostitution.
Right.
You needed to get arrested for prostitution.
Okay, no.
You're
that
going to have
is
to
not
do better,
happening.
Miss Petrie. It's your criminal behavior. Because that's not going to cut it. Yeah, no, you're totally cool. That's
Okay, I just want to make sure.
all of this because what they don't want is people sneaking prostitution into massage parlors. That's the whole point, right? So anyway, and they don't want fraudulent behavior. They don't want people that are good at ripping people off, blackmailing people, things like that. That's why they ask these questions. And if you had to answer yes to one of those things, I'm very confidential. You can talk to me about it or not. You can fill it out on your own. But then you have to send in a piece of paper that kind of explains why did you answer yes, what were the charges, what was the date of conviction, is this all cleared up, that kind of stuff. Okay? That does not include speeding tickets, everybody. This is for felonies, basically. I had a DUI on my record from when I was 22, so that would be 30 years ago. And I used to put it on my application. I don't even put it on my application anymore because I don't think it even shows up anymore. And they just don't care. They don't care. They didn't care when I first applied. They're like, we're not talking about DUIs. We're talking about like real, I understand DUIs can be criminal, but they're talking about real serious stuff. So anyway.
Isn't it like 7 years that wipes
Probably.
away pretty much?
I hear that most background checks don't go back more than 10 years. Yeah. So, but I'm not putting it on there to be deceptive. I just, after a while, I was like, this is stupid. Like I'm 52, I was 22. Like it's not, I don't even think anybody knows about it. Okay. Then what hopefully you're going to say here is I paid using the board's online payment, and we're going to upload that file too. So hopefully you downloaded a receipt from when you filled out the payment. If you didn't, there's ways around it. But not only write down the confirmation number, but download a receipt. You can apply for a fee waiver, but you have to prove that you have to get tax records. So if you think that your family is income is 200% below is below the 200% poverty, below 200% of poverty, you can apply for your entire license for $22. But you're gonna have to upload right here your taxes. Now, let me just point out a few people in the audience who might actually apply. You might actually be available for this and not realize it. So, and I don't know any of your financial situations. This is not me judging you. Please, please, please understand. But for example, Ms. Petrie, just because I'm looking at you, if you don't have a job and Chris really isn't your husband and you're filling out your own taxes, you might show as below poverty right now. And legally, this isn't being tricky. Or Ms. Stanley, if you're living with your boyfriend and you don't have a lot of income to show, it just depends, and nobody's claiming you on their taxes. Now, if they're claiming you on their taxes, you have to go under their taxes. But if you're under your own taxes, some of you might be broker than you realize, but you're living a great life because somebody else is supporting you or whatever. Miss Hanson, this wouldn't work for her because whether she's working or not, she's married. And it looks like her husband's doing something. And so their income is considered together. I'm just letting you know because some people are kind of shocked to find out like, oh, my parents are doing really well, but I claim myself on my taxes because I'm 22 or whatever, and I'm broke. You could actually apply for this and save yourself about $200. But you have to have the most recent tax documents have to be uploaded. So that would now be the tax documents for 2020. We need a copy of the first couple of pages of them to upload them. And I'm happy to do that. I mean, the worst thing I can do is tell you no, but that kind of stuff. Miss Petrie. Oh, okay. Miss Hunter.
Sorry, I cut out. So what were you talking about regarding taxes?
If you think that you are below 200% of the federal poverty line, you could just use we could upload your taxes, like your tax forms from 2020, to prove that you are broke, essentially, and you would only pay $22 for your license.
Okay.
So decide that before you make your payment if you think you might qualify for that. I have had students do it and they qualified no problem.
So how does that, like, because you said that you have to pay before you even get to this form.
Yes. Hold on. So let's see. Here we go. I'm pulling up a chart right now. Do you file your own taxes?
I used that little online thing.
Yeah, no, but I'm sorry. Does anybody claim you or do you claim yourself?
I claim myself.
Okay. And it's just you, right?
Yep.
So, for example, if just this is your situation. So you are one person in your household. If you made less than $25,000 in 2020, you could apply for this and you would get it.
Okay.
But it's got to be under $25,000 for you.
Okay.
If there's more people in your household that you're filing on your taxes, that number can go up. But for a single person, it's got to be under $25,000.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And so you would know that ahead of time, by the way, Miss Hunter, and you wouldn't. You just pay the $22 when we went to pay. You wouldn't pay the full thing. So decide that you're right before you pay. And then you guys get down here, and it says sign. And believe it or not, it'll take you to, well, right now it's going to keep kicking me back to stuff I didn't fill out right. But normally you'll sign it, you'll actually type your name in, you'll submit it, you type your email address in, you save the receipt and all that stuff, and it's gone. That's it. That's it for your online application. There is a mail-in portion we have to do. But that's it for your online application. I'm going to show you the mail-in portion. So far, by the way, what you need is either like a green card or a driver's license, a picture of you, and possibly your taxes and the receipt for paying for it. So, what was I going to show you? Oh, citizenship. Let's see, not that. Forms. Hold on, everybody. We also do have to fill out a statement of citizenship. I'm pretty sure, maybe not everybody does, but, and we have to mail this in. This is super simple. You put your name on here, your date, and again, you show that you're going to show your driver's license or whatever proves that you should be here. We will fill this out. We'll actually print it out. We can do this here at school. We will stick it in a manila envelope. We will put copies of your license and everything in there, and we will put your fingerprint card in there. And where are you going to get your fingerprint card? Well, if I get approval to pay for them, which I think I will, you will get it across the street at the UPS store. You can walk in there, they'll fingerprint you on the spot, and we'll stick it in this envelope, we'll mail it off, and now you're done. The good news is, normally you'd have to go get your transcripts and stuff, but if we get approval and we have the money, I will take care of sending all the classes' transcripts over officially once they're ready, which will be May 13th, 14th, when the classes really, and we'll send over official school transcripts. And the board will match everything up, and you should see your license kind of pending, and you wait a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and you get a license. That's it. Ms. Torres.
So when do we have to do this?
Sometime in the next couple of years.
No.
I'm serious. I thought you meant like, is there a rush?
Yeah, like, do we have to do this tomorrow? Do we have to do this?
You literally
when do we
have,
have to do
you
it?
literally have at least a whole year after you graduate to do this. Now you won't be able to practice
but we
until you
can
do
get
this.
a license.
Yeah, you don't actually have to apply for your license immediately. You can't do massage until you get your license.
Well, yeah, that's my point, Silly.
Oh, well then we need to do this next week and have it ready to send in like right as you're graduating. Yes. We're actually going to send it in before you graduate.
I have some questions because, so when I became a citizen,
Yeah.
I took out my middle name and
Yeah.
my second last name.
Yeah.
Okay, but I never went to get a new license because of COVID. So that happened like during COVID. So I never went. I do have my passport with my new name. Well, it's not a new name. It's just Lucia Torres. Just what I have.
So what we would do, from what you've described to me, I mean, yes, you could go get your license updated. That's one thing you could do. But you can use your passport document. So we would just use that instead of a driver's license.
Okay.
Because the names match.
Yeah, but my old name is still in school. Like all my stuff are under my old name.
And what's the old name?
It just has my middle name, which is Berenice.
I don't know if the middle name's going to throw them off. It's still Lucia Torres.
Yeah, it's still there, but it's shorter now.
Yeah, I think you're going to be okay. I don't think it's going to matter. But we can change, with a passport, you can change your name at school too.
Oh, okay.
But because your first and last name are the same, I think we're gonna be okay.
Oh, okay.
I agree
I need
that
to go
everything needs to
change it.
match up.
I just, oh my god.
Yeah. I agree.
I got pulled over like last year,
Mhm.
and that was fun.
Yeah,
He
yeah. Can't even imagine, especially in this
was
state.
really nice though.
Oh,
but-
good. I love hearing that. That's good. But anyway, yes, ma'am. So your school records say almost the same thing as your passport, but the school records have a middle name in there. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it not a middle name? It's two last names.
No, it's so I have a middle name and two last names. So I took out the middle name and one last name.
Oh, I think we should update your records then. I think the last names need to match completely, and the first name. So I think we need to decide if the passport has the correct name on it. I think we should take it to school and we should change your name here, so that your transcripts
Okay.
match exactly to the application, and that's your real name now. So that shouldn't be hard. I think you can walk into the front desk with a passport, and they might have you fill out some form, but I think we can fix that now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would, because you're
Alright,
right.
then
It'll cause.
I'll do that today.
Yeah, and I would, because otherwise you'll send it to the board and they'll say these names don't match, and then they're going to want all these documentation about when you changed it and how you changed it. Why, just change it at school and have it all match up.
Okay then.
Ms. Petrie, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to say that if anybody needs to change their license name at all, or just change their license, whatever it may be, they now do. You can schedule with the DMV.
Oh yeah, changing and you can even do some of it online.
Right.
Like they've got
Yeah.
really online with the DMV, so I really encourage you guys to change all that stuff if that's not the case, because it won't just affect you here in massage; it affects you everywhere. And then years
Right.
later, people are like, "Well, there's this document that has this different name on it." You're like, "Oh man, change it now." If you've gotten married or you changed something or you just took on a new name, I don't care. Change it. Make sure everything matches up. Yeah, I agree, and make sure your license matches up. But that said, Ms. Torres, you can use your passport from what you've described if it's the name you like, and we can use it to change stuff at school, and we can use it for you to prove citizenship and everything. So it should work out pretty well. And I would think that'd be the easiest route. Okay. Questions? I realize some of that you're like, oh my God, I still want help. That's fine. I just want to kind of show you what you need to get. Ms. Hanson, that is a great face of, yes, I still want help. Little deer in headlights look. Anyway, I'm happy to run through it with you guys, right? I've helped many people do it. That's my job here. So, and if you guys will bring in things like licenses and stuff today, then we can talk about setting up some time where you come in instead of lecture. We'll count it as lecture time, but we'll have you come in early and we'll do your license or something like that. Yeah, I'm all about that. I would love to do that. And the micromanaging person in me likes to do it because we make sure at least we set it off and it's all perfect. Yes, Miss Monreal.
So if I come in early today, can I find you with my driver's license?
Oh, yeah.
Can I find you with my
Yeah,
driver's
no,
license?
yeah. Start bringing in driver's licenses now, everybody. I will start putting them in your file and getting you ready. This is kind of the process we do. So yes, bring in driver's licenses and or proof of citizenship or, passports or green cards or whatever. Let me get those. Start taking pictures of yourself so you can email me a selfie and I'll take a look at it. Remember, it's a bust. It's from about here up. It's décolleté. It should be a square picture and it's just against a white wall. You can't have this back here. There's too much stuff. It's going to be against a plain white wall. We've got them all over this classroom. Take down one of the posters off the wall in here and stand there. Don't smile and take it. But yeah, please bring in your license, ma'am. Good stuff. And we will look at fingerprint cards next week, or the minute I get approval. I'm hoping even sooner than that. So we shall see. Miss Stanley.
I have a question, but it's probably I already feel like it won't matter whatsoever, but my driver's license, my hair color is black. And
Yeah.
now I'm about to send them a picture of me with blonde hair. Is that gonna be bad?
Yeah, you can change your name, but if you change your hair color, I'm sorry, I should have told you in the beginning. No, they don't care. I don't think, by the way, here's what they do with your picture, because everybody wants their picture to look pretty because they think it's going to show up in their license. It doesn't. You will never see this picture again. What they do with your picture that's actually kind of cool is they stick it in a file. And they stick it in a file because let's say that I get in trouble as a massage therapist and I say, oh, well, my name's Mike Stanley. And they can pull up Miss Stanley's file and be like, you don't look like Miss Stanley. And they'll know that I'm lying about that. So they do it to protect you. They want a picture and file of you so that they really know if it's really you, if they ever have problems. But you'll never see that picture on your license. You'll never see it on the website. It's stuck away in a file folder, and they never look at it unless somebody is trying to impersonate you, and then they can pull it up and be like, that does not look like the person who's claiming to be Miss Stanley. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I do have one more question about the license. So,
Please. That's what I'm here for.
For whatever reason, I don't know why I did it this way when I got my license. I got it when I was like 17, whatever. So I don't remember what my thought process was, but I put as my address was just my P.O. box.
Mhm.
And that has been causing me problems ever since with a lot of things. So I don't want them to like be like, oh, you don't have your real address, so you can't get this for some stupid reason. Are they gonna do that? Like,
I don't think
it's
so.
not my residential address, but it's my mailing address, kind of.
I think you'll be able to use your the PO for mailing address for the whole thing. I've had other people do it. I'm not worried about that. I understand why it causes you problems. Some places don't like POs, but I don't think the state board's going to care. This is the good stuff about the state board, everybody. There are some annoying things they do, but there's also some cool things. They're like, just don't break any laws and pay us this little thing and, see ya. They're good.
Pay us this little thing? Not little.
$200. Yeah. I admit, it's all relative. You're right. Miss Monreal, you still have your hand up? Or you have it up again?
Nope, sorry.
Oh, that's it, huh? All right. Okay. All right, everybody. Any other questions? Yeah? No? Maybe? Okay. Let's see here. Well, let's, what did I learn? Sorry, I'm looking for something here. Okay. So, of course, you have What Did I Learn Today and a TED Talk, and that's it for your entire stuff. And yeah, Stanley, do not make that face. Says every time. Anyway, you had a TED Talk and a What Did I Learn Today, and that's it. And yeah, you can work on that for the next 8 minutes if you want before we wrap things up here.